Hey, it's Etan. I am standing in the courtyard of the Pasadena Playhouse, and unbelievably to me, I spent much of my youth right in Pasadena, and I've never gone to this playhouse. And it's a real shame because this is an anchor of LA history, California history, and certainly Pasadena history. So this building was constructed in 1917 on a design by Elmer Grey, who was a very well-known architect at the time. He did work on the Huntington Gardens, and at the time, there was this whole little theater movement that was sweeping the nation. It was small community theaters, independent of the commercial centers, that could act as experimental little incubators for new theater, but also like train generations of people outside of New York, let's say, to ply their trade on the stage. And this was a great example of that, and one of the most successful examples also, because there was a ready and willing fan base in Los Angeles, supporters, financial backers. In fact, George Bernard Shaw once dubbed Pasadena the Athens of the West because of this just built-in infrastructure for theater. So in its early decades, this was not only a playhouse where people like Noel Coward and Tennessee Williams and F. Scott Fitzgerald premiered some of their stage works. It was also a place where they could train actors who would go on and do great things. The alumni list of the Pasadena Playhouse is it's leagues deep. You gotta look it up. So eventually, in 1969, Gilmore Brown, who was the founding director of the Pasadena Playhouse, he died, and the Playhouse went bankrupt. It was sold to developers, but it lay dormant for about 20 years. And then in the 80s, finally there was enough money to pick it back up, refurbish it, and it's become a bustling theater again. Something interesting I didn't know about this also is that in the early days of television, the Pasadena Playhouse was actually training a lot of technicians to use TV equipment and radio equipment. They even helped the Air Force learn to use TV and radio equipment. And so when TV stations started popping up all over the place, a lot of the early technicians and most knowledgeable were trained right here on this campus. So the building itself is just glorious, even though I'm not allowed to go inside. Everything's closed. Look at all these colors popping off. There's a Christmas tree still hanging out here. All of this Mission Revival architecture in just pristine condition. It looks old, it looks new, it looks like there's stuff about to happen as soon as that door busts open. So can't wait to come back here for an actual performance. Thanks for doing LA with me.